I'm Tom, and I wrote about the Black Cat and Mother Sauvage. So the Black Cat is similar to Mother Sauvage, and so basically the Black Cat is about someone who has a cat, which is black, and and the main character hates the cat. It starts off liking it, but it hates it, and it follows him wherever he goes, and he ends up trying to kill the cat. Theo here has also written about the Black Cat.
And it was a horror story from the 1840s, and he used lots of techniques to create tension and unease within the story. It started with the setting, where it opens in a prison cell, which makes the reader ask questions as to why he's there. This means you want to find out more. It's also set in the man's house and at the nearby pub. The characters also play an important role in creating tension, as the narrator is a prisoner who's scheduled to execution, and there's two cats, and the first cat eventually dies due to the narrator being intoxicated and killing him out of anger, and then the second cat is almost identical apart from a white patch on his tummy, and the narrator gets paid back by the second cat, who is the reason the narrator goes to prison.
The Black Cat, the point of view is from the main character, which allows the author to show what the main character is thinking and the reasons behind its actions towards the cat. In the end, the main character ends up killing his wife over the cat because the wife is trying to defend the cat. This shows that this is good because the author shows the emotions that the main character is going through and his thoughts about why he is doing this.
Mr. Loveday's Little Outing is another short story that we looked at, and in this story I think the title is particularly important to building up the plot. The use of a little outing seems jolly and innocent, whereas as the plot develops we learn Mr. Loveday, who simply wants a little outing, is actually previously a murderer and is still insane despite pretending and fooling Angela, a young character in the story, that he's regained his sanity. She then campaigns for his release, you could say, from the asylum, and he gets his day out, and it turns out he goes and murders her once again, and returns after a very short amount of time, murders another young girl. And the contrast between the title and the actual version of the plot is very important in building it up, as I said, and I think is probably used in multiple stories, not just this one, in other ones that we've read.
Yeah, I talked about a story called The Lottery, which is quite a dark story actually. It's about a village set in kind of traditional, a very traditional, stereotypical British village, and they have a lottery every year where each family takes a piece of paper out of a box, and if there's a spot on that piece of paper, then everyone in that family has to take another one, and whoever gets the spot gets stoned to death by the rest of the villagers. And it's a very interesting take on the theory of the lottery. Obviously, with the title, we go into it assuming it's going to be nice because that's what we associate the lottery with, but it's actually a lottery of who's going to die, and there's the idea that death is justified if it's down to random chance, and there was lots of similarities between that and Mother Sauvage, which I also wrote about. Like the setting, they both open with really nice, sunny, relaxing, calming atmospheres through the language, and like in The Lottery, the author describes the morning as clear and sunny with the fresh warmth of a full summer day, which immediately puts the idea in our head that it's going to be really nice. It's going to be a lottery. It's someone's going to win, and the same happens in Mother Sauvage. They start it with this, this really gorgeous landscape of France, and then it just emphasizes the killing at the end.
Mother Sauvage, the plot is that Mother Sauvage, or Le Mère Sauvage, so her son has gone to war, and so she's got some of the enemy, in inverted commas, they are looking after her, and she finds out that her son has been killed, and so she then plots to kill the people who are looking after her. And so she does this by putting straw into the loft, which is where they're sleeping, and she then lights it. And she once the crime has been committed, she then asks the policeman to tell the family that it was her, because she wants them to know what it feels like to lose sons like her. And this is a really powerful part, and this is a really powerful story, because it emphasizes how love and passion can be a real part of life.
Also, the relationship between a mother and a son, where the son dies, is important in The Rocking Horse Winner, another one that we read. The son in the story, Paul, becomes obsessed quite quickly with horse racing and has a rocking horse in his room, and every time he rides on it, he's given a power to be able to predict the next race. So the family is very money driven, and linking to before, the mother and son relationship, the mother seems to value money and wealth above the life of her son. He ends up dying whilst doing the prediction of the race, and his mother didn't know a lot about it, because she was only interested in the gains of it and not the negative side for her son.
The Unexpected is a story of love that ends up leading to escape. A girl named Dorothea, who is in love with a man called Randall, regretfully has to see him leave due to him being ill, but then she prepares herself for him coming back and is sure that she is prepared for what he will look like, as she isn't sure, but she's sure that it's going to be something bad. But in the end, she's still not expected enough, hence linking to the title, The Unexpected. And this causes her to, unfortunately, decide to leave the house and the area and completely forget all about Randall. And she doesn't want to marry him anymore. And the interesting thing is that you think that the unexpected bit is that Randall being completely different, and she doesn't expect to see what he looks like. But actually, I think that the unexpected bit is where Dorothea escapes and runs away.
I think in going back to Mother Sauvage, it makes very good use of a framing device, which is where the story of Mother Sauvage is told by a character in the main story. So there's someone called Sir Val, and he is telling the tale of this abandoned house that he and his friend come across, and it goes back to the story of when the mother was living there, and this has many benefits, because perhaps most importantly, it highlights the contrast between then and now. So the friends are out like hunting when they come across this abandoned house. They're hunting animals, which links to the time back then in the time of the story of Mother Sauvage, where wartime is going on, and so soldiers come and visit her, and that's a fine link there. And there's a lot of imagery with war, soldiers, death, and things like that. And it's also, again, a good contrast with the setting, because in the time they're hunting, it's as I mentioned before, the setting is really sunny. It's summer, and there's grass, and streams and things that it's really positive. But then in the when it goes back in time, the weather it's snowy, it's winter, it's cold, and that's another contrast that then sets up the killing where Mother Sauvage kills all the soldiers. Should we leave it at that?